Hey guys, it's Loves to Loom here, and today I'll be showing you how to make this really cool blaster cannon bracelet. This bracelet was designed by Suzanne HB, also on Instagram as Crazy Just Might Work, so definitely check her out and give her a follow for me so you can keep up on all her really cool and awesome designs. This bracelet here is actually a extended version of her original design, which was the blaster bolt. I just recently uploaded that to my channel, so you can definitely check that out. And we also did she designed, but I did the tutorial on the armadillo one as well, which was a little smaller than this version here. But this one is kind of like a cuff. I think it's perfect for the males. I know my husband liked it a lot, so hopefully you guys like it as well. It does take about 400 bands to make this, but I definitely think it's worth it. So without further ado, let's get started. To make this bracelet, you will want to have one loom, your hook, and 2 C-clips. You will also want to have your loom set up like this with the 2 bar pins in a staggered position with the arrows facing in the right direction. I did remove the back bar pin because we only need 2 of them. For the pins we're going to be using 11 pins. Here's the furthest point they will come out to where my fingers are, and we'll pretty much be working with all the ones in between. So just make sure you don't have anything in the middle here so your bracelet can grow down through the middle of those pins. To start laying our bands, we're going to actually start with these pins right here in the front. So we're going to lay 2 bands here and 2 bands here. Every time we lay it on those pins, we will be double banding. Now for the first time we need to twist the band on, so I'm going to start here on my left side, placing it on the pin, and you're just going to twist it onto the pin next to it like that. We're going to do the same on the right side. Remember, we're using double bands for these front pins, so just put those on and twist it like an infinity sign. You can push them down, and now we're going to actually go ahead and use our single bands, and we're going to make like an upside down V shape here. So from the left, I'm going to bring that to the middle, and then I'm going to do the same on the right side, just like that. Now we're going to be doing the same thing on the left side that we do on the right side, but I'm going to do one side at a time. So starting on my right, still using my teal, I'm going to stretch over like that, and we will be making another upside down V, but first we have to actually add one more band in on the sides. So lay your teal going up, but then grab your other color if you're going to use another color and stretch it over. It should be 1 pin next to that teal one. Once you've done that, you can go ahead and grab your other teal and finish off that V shape. I'm going to do the same thing on the left side. So I'm going to stretch my teal out to the left. Now I'm going to grab my pink and stretch it 1 over. And now I'm going to go ahead and finish off that V. So it should look like this. And now we actually have to add cap bands on the top of all of our upside down V's. So just push those down a little bit to give you room for the cap band. And the cap band actually needs to be triple looped. So just make sure that you wrap it around 3 times. It doesn't matter how you achieve the cap band, as long as it's looped 3 times. So 1, 2, 3. And I apologize if my hands get in the way a little bit for the cap banding. Okay, so that's what it should look like now, and now we can go ahead and start doing one of the hooking steps. So the first thing that we're going to do is cross our pinks over on each side. So starting on the right side, I'm just going to grab the pink here, take it off the pin, and stretch it over to the right, just like that. Going to the left side, we're going to do the same thing. Stretch it over back to itself. Now we have to go inside of each one of our cap bands, pulling the teal forward back down to itself. If it is easier, you can turn your loom around and loop it that way as well. I'm actually going to just leave my loom like this and do it this way. So going inside this cap band, make sure you get through all 3 of the bands. Grab that very top band, and then you're just going to pull it forward. We're going to do the same thing to this one. Going to the middle, we're doing the same thing. So you just want to push the cap band out of the way, grabbing that band and pulling it forward. The second one's a lot easier because you already have that first one looped. Whoops. And as I say that, I lose my band. So if that happens, just stick your hook down into that cap band and grab that band with your hook and just slide it through. Like so. So sorry about that. Mistakes happen though, what can I say? So now we're going to go to the last one over here, doing the same thing. Go ahead and push that cap band out of the way. And sometimes it's nice to just hold on to that cap band so you don't lose it. Bring that back to itself, go in again, and grab the other one, and bring that forward. So that's what we should have so far. Now we're going to go ahead and loop the whites in the front here up and over. So you're just going to grab the 2 bands underneath here on the front on the left side and bring it over the pin. Doing the same to the right side. And coming over to this side, we're going to do the same thing. Just grab the 2 white bands and bring them up and over. Go ahead and push your bands down. In the front, push your bands down, because what we're going to actually do now is remove each one of these cap bands off of the pin. So just with your hook, you just pop it off. We're going to do this after we're done looping. Each time we're going to remove all the cap bands every time. So now you can finish pushing your bands down, and we're going to go ahead and add on one of our next layers. So now we have to actually lay on our white again. So they'll be going on these 2, or these 4. Make sure that your bands are double looped. And this time you do not have to twist them. You can just put them straight across like that. Doing the same on the pin next to it. So just grab 2 bands, stretching it across that pin like that. And now we're going to do the hooking step again. So I'm going to go in here, grabbing the 2 bottom teal bands, bringing them up and over. Doing the same on this side. And now we're going to do the same on these pins. So just grab the 2 bottoms, bring them up and over. Going to push those down. And now we're going to go ahead and start laying our bands again, which is going to be like the upside down V part of it. So with my teal, I'm going to start with the middle. Now I'm going to come over and work with my right side. So I'll stretch one up. And then remember, you have to grab that other band and stretch it next to that pin. And now we're going to finish off that upside down V. Like that. And now we're going to do the same on our left side. Stretching it up. Doing the same that we did on the other side. Just like that. And now we can go ahead and add our cap bands on again. So they need to go on all 3 of these pins here. And if any of you have watched the Armadillo bracelet, that is very, very similar process. Pretty much the only difference is that we have this in the middle here, and that we're double banding the front. But as far as the layout, if you've made that design, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, so now that we have gone ahead and put on our cap bands, the very first step that you want to do is bring your pinks back to themselves. So starting on the right, I'm just going to remove that from the pin and stretch it over to the right. And I'm going to do the same thing over here on the left side. Just stretch that pink over. Now we can go ahead and loop our cap bands out again. So I'm going inside my cap band, stretching it forward, doing the same thing, grabbing the bottom band and bringing that forward. Coming to the middle, I'm going inside the cap band again. And you're just bringing them all forward. Just the, I guess, hardest part is just making sure that you're getting inside all three of the bands. Which this one's kind of sticking on me. There we go. There we go. So now that I have all of my cap bands looped, we're going to actually go in and bring the bottoms up and over on all the pins. So you have to make sure that you don't forget these back two pink ones as well. So I'm actually going to start with those. So I'm going to bring that up and over on each of my two back pins. And now that I have those brought up and over, I'm going to go ahead and finish doing all the fronts. So I'm just going to work left to right, bringing the two bottom bands up and over. And just do that all the way down the loom. Go ahead and push your bands down a little bit. And now we're going to go ahead and pop these three cap bands off of the pins again. So with your hook, just go ahead and pop them off. And now we have to lay our center whites again. So remember, these are the only bands that are being double banded. Just like that. And now we're going to go ahead and bring the bottoms up and over again. So just bringing those two bottom bands up and over. Doing the same on the right side. Going to push those down. And now we can go ahead and add on our upside down triangles again, or V's. And well, I guess it kind of is like a triangle too, except it's not closed off. So go ahead and lay your middle. Coming over here on the right side. Laying your first one, then stretching across. And then adding that other teal. Going to the left side, we're going to do the same thing. Just like that. Should look like that again. And now we need to go ahead and add on our cap bands again. So at first it may seem like a little weird or hard getting used to, but after you do it a few times, it's very easy to pick up on. So now we're going to go ahead and cross our pinks over. And now once again we're going inside of all of our cap bands and looping our teals back to themselves. In other words, bringing them forward. Like I said, if you're having trouble looping it this way, feel free to turn the loom around and loop it that way. So now that we've gone ahead and got all of our bands looped out, we can go ahead and loop the bottoms up and over. So I'm going to start on my outsides. So I'm just going to bring the bottom two on the outside here. Bring it up and over. Now I'm coming over to the left side, grabbing those 2 bottom bands and bringing those over. And now we're going to just go from the left down and just keep bringing all the 2 bottom bands up and over. Go ahead and push them down a little. And remember, after you do all the looping, that's when you pop off all of your cap bands back here before we start laying our next set of bands. If you do by any chance forget to remove those cap bands, do not worry. You will eventually realize it, and then you can just pop them all off at once. It won't hurt anything, I promise. So now we're going to have to lay our double whites again. And this is probably one of the trickier parts once you go on your own and I go off the camera, is you just have to make sure you don't forget to add these 2 fronts. I know when I first made this bracelet, I kept wanting to go immediately into doing the triangle steps or the upside down V step. So just make sure you don't forget to do this part. So we're laying those double whites, bringing the bottoms up and over. Pushing them down, and now we're going to lay our upside down B's again. Going to the right side. Now going to my left side. And now adding on our cap bands. Whoops. Okay, and now I'm going to go ahead and loop my pinks. So just remember, after adding those cap bands, you're always crossing over the very outside pink. And then now we go inside all of our cap bands again and loom them back to themselves. Whoops. Okay, and now we can go ahead and loop the bottoms up and over. So starting on my outside ones, bringing the pinks up and over. And now once again, I'm just going to go down the whole front row, bringing the bottom 2 bands up and over. After doing that, you're going to push them down and pop off each one of your cap bands. As your bracelet starts to grow, oh, I missed a piece here. As your bracelet starts to grow, it's going to just continue to come down and through the bottom of your loom. Mine's not quite long enough, but as it starts to do that, just give it a little bit of a pull so that it just falls into place a little nicer for you and you can get a better judge of how long your bracelet is. I'm going to go ahead off camera and finish up the length of my bracelet, and then we can come up here or come back at the end and close it up together. If you feel like you need a little more instructions, please feel free to rewind the tutorial and watch those previous instructions that I gave. And I will be right back to close up the bracelet. Okay guys, so I did go ahead and finish up the length of my bracelet. So now we're going to go ahead and get this closed up together. Basically, you just want to make sure that you have ended on the last step, which is removing the cap bands from the back here and making sure all the bottoms are looped. So it should look like this. It basically looks like we're getting ready to add our next layer, except we are not going to. We're going to close it up. So if your loom looks like this with 2 bands on each one of your pins, we can go ahead and get started. The first thing that we're going to want to do, you have your 2 bands obviously on the middle ones here, but the ones next to the middle, these 2, we're going to bring into the middle. So starting on the left one here, just carefully remove that from the pin and stretch it over to the right. We're doing the same on the right side, removing it carefully from the pin, but stretching this one to the left. And be careful not to lose the bands because it's very hard to fix if you do. So it should look like that. And now we actually want to move these in a little bit closer. So we're actually going to grab this band here and bring it forward for a second onto this pin in the back. It's just kind of like a placer. And we're going to bring this pink one down here to the front. So just carefully grab that pink off of the back and bring it down to the front here. Like that. And now you can grab the green or teal, that we had back here. Take it off the pin and now place it on top of that pin that has the pink on it. Like that. And now we're going to do that same thing to the right side. So coming over here, we're going to go ahead and take this teal off of the pin and just bring it forward for a second just to kind of get it out of the way. And we're going to bring this pink down here to this front band or front pin. Just like that. And now go ahead and grab that teal from the back pin and place it on top of where we just put the pink. Just like that. So now we are down to 4 pins, and there are 4 bands on each one of our pins. We're going to go ahead and take a single band, and we're going to lay one on this pin here, and then we're going to lay one here. So it's just one single band. Actually, I think we should use 2. I can't remember what I did on my last one, but I don't want it to be too loose. So I'm actually going to use 2 bands and stretch it across. So grab 2 bands, I apologize about that, and go ahead and stretch it on that pin, and then do the same on the right side. Like that. And now we're going to go ahead and bring the bottom up and over on each one of these pins. So you may not be able to grab all 4 at once, so you can certainly just grab 2 at a time and bring them over into the middle like that. Do the same on the right side. If you can grab all 4, that's fine. If you can't, that's fine as well. Just make sure that all the ones underneath eventually end up on the pin here. Doing the same on the right side. And now for the very far right, bring them up and over. Just like that. And now over here on the left side, we're going to remove the 2 white bands, bringing it onto this pin here. So just be very careful. Just lay it right on top. And we're going to do the same on the right side, just bringing this into this one. Like that. And now we're actually going to slide our C-clips onto these bands here. So there should be 4 in each one. So just slide your hook in. And I definitely recommend doing this while it's on the loom so you don't lose any bands. And I'm just using a regular C-clip. So make sure you get around all 4 of those. Now go ahead into the right side, slide your hook down into that pin, around all 4 of those bands, and slip your C-clip onto that side as well. Just get around all 4 of those, like so. Then you can slide your hook out and carefully remove those from the pin. Just be careful that you don't accidentally pull any bands out of the C-clip. And then you can go ahead and pull that off of your loom. Give it a nice stretch. Make sure your C-clip is nice and secure on both ends, which it is. And then go ahead on the other side of your bracelet, and you'll see the white down here, which is where we did the cross in the beginning of the bracelet. You're just going to hook it onto these 2 ends here. So if you want to just grab 2, you can, but that's going to be looser, or you can grab all 4. I'm going to grab all 4 so that it's tighter. It might take me a moment because there is a lot of bands here. Oh, sorry about that. Knocking over my camera. Alright, so I have 1 down and 1 to go. Okay. And if you don't like the space that's there, you could always grab 1 more C-clip and clip these 2 end caps together, and that will close it so that it's touching. I don't mind the space, so that's completely up to you, but you can certainly just grab those 2 blues and pop a C-clip on both of those, and it'll close it up like that. I did go ahead and just slipped it on my wrist real fast so you guys can see it completed. I think it looks a little bit better once it's on my wrist. But there you have the completed blaster cannon bracelet. I think it's super awesome. It fits snug and it's nice and wide like a cuff. This design was created once again by Suzanne HB. Also on Instagram as Crazy Just Might Work. So please check her out and give her a follow. I think she did an amazing job on this design. You can also check me out on Instagram at Loves to Loom. If this video helped you out, please give it a big thumbs up and hit that subscribe button below if you have not done so already. I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this video, and I'll see you at my next tutorial. Thanks guys, bye!